So I just wanted to expand a little bit on the last video that I did. We were talking about macronutrients, and I talked about how I'm not a huge fan of cutting out one macronutrient. So we'll just use keto as an example because that's still kind of a popular dieting strategy these days. The reason I'm not a huge fan of keto for a lot of people is because there are so many carbs everywhere you look, and it's in so many food items. And it's also a good, important source of energy for most people, especially active people. If you're going to be physically active, carbs are going to be your friend. They're going to be your energy source, your main energy source. When the liver converts carbohydrates into glucose, that is then sent directly to the muscle fibers. So if I'm lifting weights, that glucose that's stored in the muscle fibers is what allows me to do that work and do that activity. So I don't want to get rid of it completely. There's a lot of studies that are coming out now, and they're not necessarily talking disparagingly about keto, but they're saying if you're an active person, keto may not be the best dieting protocol because it can hurt performance, and they're talking about physical activity, exercise specifically. So it can hinder performance. That's why maybe keto is not the best idea for somebody that's physically active on a regular basis. The other reason I'm not a huge fan of cutting out a macronutrient is because it tends to lead to very rigid dieting protocols, and within that rigidity, it becomes not sustainable. So that's, I think, the biggest complaint with keto specifically is that it's just not very easy to do it for the long term. It's not a sustainable dieting practice. If you talk to anybody that's done keto before, sure, they may say, yeah, I lost a bunch of weight. Well, they may have lost weight initially, and then within a couple weeks, they were eating carbohydrates again because it was very difficult to do. And I would argue that if that's the case, then the dieting protocol didn't really work. The eating strategy didn't really work if you were just immediately forced to adhere to an old eating model. So I think you have to, low carb is cool. You can, most people eat too many carbs, especially in America. So we can work to try to balance out our macronutrient profile where we're getting a little bit more healthy fats and a little bit more protein so that we're not eating so many carbs. And that's that's doable. That's something that people can seem to adhere to a lot easier than something as strict and as rigid as going completely keto. So that's why I don't usually recommend keto to people. I think keto is good for people who may be obese and need to lose weight immediately, just for like severe health markers. That's about the only time that I would say it's a good idea. But for the mass population, I would say not a great idea. And if you have more questions about that, feel free to hit me up. Feel free to DM me, and have a great day.